Hey everyone, today we're talking about the type of homes that you can find here in the state of Maryland. So let's jump right into it. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Living in Maryland channel where we talk about all things living here in the state of Maryland. If that's the kind of information you're looking for, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you're notified of our new weekly videos where we talk about all things Maryland. And if you ever need any assistance, if you're looking to buy, sell, rent here in the state of Maryland, we love taking your calls. We'd love to help. Please feel free to reach out directly anytime, and we'll definitely get you going and assist in any way that we can. All right, so today we're talking about the kind of homes that you can find here in Maryland. So first off, I want to start off with split foyers and split levels and talk about those. So these types of homes were very popular in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s. If you're looking at new construction homes, I don't even think they're really making them anymore. So you're really gonna see these types of homes in those years where I've noticed that they're very popular. So first I want to start off with split foyer and just kind of explain what kind of home that is. So with a split foyer, you're going to walk in through the front door and you're going to immediately be hit with stairs up or down. And you're gonna have to make a decision, right? So upstairs, you're gonna walk in and then you're gonna have a living room area, typically leading into a dining room and then a kitchen area. A lot of them were built originally with the kitchen kind of enclosed with two walls there and just kind of a walk-in point to the kitchen from two different points. Certain people over the years, certain homeowners have opened that up with a post or whatnot and really kind of opened that up so it's a one big open concept space, which is cool. But a lot of them are still enclosed. So a lot of people don't really like that about them because they don't really have that open concept style of living. And then from the front door, if you were to go downstairs, that's gonna typically take you into the lower level basement style living. So you'd have kind of like another living space, maybe another bedroom, and kind of a utility space where you're gonna see your HVAC, hot water heater, and things like that. Okay, so split levels are kind of in the same family, but they are a little different. So if you're walking in the front door of a split level, you're gonna open the door to walk in and you're gonna have a much more open concept living style. So you're gonna walk in, you're not gonna be immediately met with stairs, and you're gonna walk into the living room and then straight ahead typically is gonna be your kitchen area. Some of these are still enclosed as well, but again, a lot of homeowners just with the trend of kind of open concept living have opened these up, and a lot of them are very open concept on that initial walk-in main level. So you're gonna have a living room, a kitchen, and then typically an eat-in or a kind of a dining area, but it's typically not separate, right? So it's gonna be kind of all in one. And then you're gonna have stairs going up to typically 2 or 3 bedrooms and one or two full baths. And that's gonna be your upper level, bedrooms and baths. And then you're gonna have a stairs going down, and that's gonna be typically another living area, like a hangout room, TV room, living room style. And then some of these split levels are cool. So that's gonna be 3 levels, right? So you got your upstairs with bedrooms and baths, your main level with kitchen and living room, and then you're gonna have a lower level, kind of almost a basement feel. And then some of these split levels have a 4th level where from that lower level basement, another 6-7 stairs that go down to another lower level. Some of these are finished where it's kind of like people use it as a man cave, kind of, additional space in that way. Some of them are unfinished, so there may be just more storage. And then you're naturally on the lowest level, whether you have an additional lower level or not. On the lowest level in these, you're gonna find your HVACs and utility space as well. So some of these split levels are 4 levels and can really have a lot of living space. So if you're looking for more space, but you're only seeing split level and split foyers in your price point, definitely focus on split levels because you're gonna see more space in those. And then I will say, when it comes to detached homes, your split level and split foyers in combination with probably Cape Cods are gonna be the most affordable of all your detached homes. So depending on your price point, your just kind of keep that in mind as well. All right, next style of home that you're gonna find here in Maryland is gonna be a rancher. Also, you're gonna see these called ramblers or raised ranchers, raised ramblers. So if you see those that additional name, they're kind of used interchangeably here in the state of Maryland. So the ideal part about these is definitely everything on one level, right? So you're gonna see a lot of people targeting these if they want to eliminate steps or if they want as little steps as possible in their homes. Most ranchers and ramblers here in Maryland are going to have basements, although there are some, I'd probably say 10 to 15% of your ranchers out there are not going to have basements. So that's just something, if you're looking and a basement is a must for you, just always check and just kind of confirm that it's got that, because there are some that don't. And one little side thing that I like about ranchers, because I personally own one, so I figured I would just throw this in. You do have, typically good attic access. So for me, I know I've got to pull down stairs, so that makes it very easy to get up there if I need to do any kind of work, or if I want to set up, plywood for storage or anything like that. And they typically run the entire footprint of that main level. So that's good as far as access, like in your split foyer, split levels, and then Cape Cod, certainly you don't have that same kind of access if you need to get up there and you want to do any kind of, maybe recessed lighting, or you want to set up any kind of storage. So that's just something to keep in mind too. And for some of these older ranchers, which if you're looking at ranchers, they typically are going to be built before 2000. Most of them are even built more in the 50s, 60s, 70s. So a lot of them are going to be over the years transitioned from maybe boiler heat and stuff like that. So even for me, I know we still have that. And then we've got the air conditioning via an air handler that's actually up in the attic. So it just makes it very easy, and it's very helpful to be able to get up there and access that. All right, next I want to talk about Cape Cods. Now, of all detached homes, I would say in general, Cape Cods are going to be your smallest as far as square footage. So most of these Cape Cods out here in Maryland are going to run probably 1,600 square feet and below, and I'm talking about taxable square feet. So that's going to be main level and upper level if there is one, not including the basement. So that's kind of that's how appraisers determine value and all that kind of stuff. So that's typically what we go by. Although if you are looking on third-party websites, a lot of times they just combine any finished basement square feet. So if you're looking if you really need to get specific on square footage, reach out to someone, a realtor or something, to just clarify that, because most of the time it's via tax living square feet, which is not including the basement. So anyways, most of them are pretty small. Your main level, you're going to walk in typically right into your living space, and then the kitchen's typically going to be on the back. A lot of the kitchens are very small, kind of in a small, tight, confined space. So that's something to be aware of. And then upstairs, typically the stairs is going to be right behind your front door, and your upstairs is going to go up typically to two separate rooms. Sometimes if they're closed off or something, or sometimes it's just one big open space. Now with Cape Cods, the upstairs is always going to be kind of a pitched kind of roof, because there really is no attic. So it's almost like an enclosed finished attic, most of these Cape Cods. So that's just something to be kind of prepared for. If you're taller, you're definitely going to notice, because it's kind of a smaller space, certainly than the main level. Now the cool thing is that typically they've got a lot of storage up on those upper level in the Cape Cods. They typically have like little doors that run the entire length of the house that are perfect for storage. So that's pretty common to see in Cape Cods as well. In my experience, I would say most Cape Cods do have basements, although they are going to be smaller, because most of your Cape Cods out there are going to be built before 1960s probably. So a lot of them are built in 40s, 50s, 60s. So their basements were certainly not built kind of for living space. I don't think they were intended for that. A lot of people have finished them over the years, but they're definitely going to have that smaller feel. Probably most of them are going to have 6.5, 7.5 foot ceilings. So that's something to kind of expect as well. All right, next style of home that you're going to see here in Maryland, and probably the most popular, is going to be the Colonial style detached home. When you're looking at new construction as well, it's almost all Colonial in my experience. They also sometimes call it traditional. It seems like they kind of use that interchangeably here in Maryland. So you're going to see a lot of Colonials, especially if you're targeting newer homes. If you are looking at homes built in the 80s, 90s, and after, it's mainly colonials. And these are the biggest style of home that you're going to find here in Maryland as well. It feels like they start off at about 1,800 square feet and just kind of go up from there. So that's typically going to be the smallest one you'll see. The average colonial that you're going to see is probably around 2,000 square feet, not including the basement. So they're definitely, if you're looking for size, this is going to be the style of home here in Maryland that you're going to want to kind of zero in on and focus on. In almost all colonials, you are going to find that they have basements, so you're going to have your utilities and everything for the most part in the basement. You're going to find that stuff there, and then all bedrooms in colonials you're typically going to find on the upper level. So that's something that you're going to want to expect there. And then kitchen and living space is going to be on your main level. And then a lot of these have been finished over the years, so you're going to find that additional living space in the basement as well. All right, last but not least, I want to mention Baltimore row homes. So if you are looking in the greater Baltimore County area, if you're looking in Baltimore City, you're going to see a ton of these Baltimore row homes. Most of them were built in the early 1900s. To mid 1900s, so they are going to be older. A lot of them are mainly brick style, and they're kind of on the smaller end. You're probably looking at about 11, 12, 1,300 square feet, not including the basement. And then most of them will have a basement, I think, that you'll find. So, and then most of them are going to have a galley style kitchen, so it's going to be kind of smaller. You're going to walk in through the front door into kind of a rectangle shaped living space. That's typically where you're going to find your TV, your living rooms. You're going to walk straight back into kind of a dining area. And then the kitchen's going to be on your left. And typically that's enclosed, kind of galley style, very small. Some of them have been opened up over the years that you'll find if they've been renovated or something like that. But I would expect them to have smaller size kitchens. And then your basement's going to be off the kitchen, kind of heading down off the base of the kitchen. If you have a family or if you're looking for space, Baltimore row homes are probably not going to meet your needs. The upstairs are typically going to have 3 bedrooms. Some of them are 2, and those rooms are going to be bigger. But most of them are going to have 3 bedrooms, 1 full bath on the upper level. Consequently, because they're fitting in 3 bedrooms into a smaller space, those rooms typically are going to be on the small side. Common feedback that I get from these row homes is that the bedrooms are just not big enough. So that's something I would expect going into it if you're looking at something like that. And then, as I mentioned, most of these are going to have basements. If it's closer to the early 1900s, it's really going to feel like a cellar style basement. So very, very short. Not very big, so I would expect that feel. As it gets into the 40s, 50s, 60s, as far as the year being built, it's going to have a little more of a larger feel, so you can finish those, you can turn those into living spaces. But if it's early 1900s, that's going to be it's going to be tough to do that, just given that it's just not going to be big enough. For me, I'm 6'4", and if I'm in the city and walking through most of these row homes, I'm ducking, it's just tough. I can barely stand up straight in them. So that's something to expect from these as well. All right, and then I do want to mention with Baltimore row homes, ground rent is still fairly common. It was instituted a while back for some reason. Ground rent is where you own the structure, but you don't own the dirt, right? So it's typically $120, $150 a year, where you pay what's called a ground rent holder. I guess to hold that lease. Now the government, the city stepped in a while back and made it that those have to be able to be redeemed by homeowners if they choose. There's kind of a complicated calculation. Typically it comes out to $1,200 to $1,500, and you can actually redeem that, buy it out into fee simple, where you own the dirt and you own the structure. So that's something that just to kind of be prepared for. It's really phasing out over the years because of people just not really wanting to pay that ground rent and wanting that fee simple ownership. But it is something that you still will see if you're looking in the Baltimore area. And then last thing I want to mention is that if you are looking in Baltimore City, the city kind of came up with a cool program. So they're incentivizing builders and construction people out there to renovate some of these older row homes, to kind of expand them, make them bigger, right? To kind of follow some guidelines within that, but to keep the historic, keep some of that charm, that original feel to those row homes. And then if they follow those certain guidelines, the city is giving a 10-year tax break, which really effectively comes out to a 50% tax break for 10 years. from getting the approval from the city. So that's something we are seeing pop up a lot within the city. People going ahead and doing that, and that's really a cool program. So if you are looking in the city, some of these row homes, once they're renovated, they're cool. The basements are big. They've got almost like a 9-foot ceiling feel to it. I don't know what they do, but they go in there and they just expand it. They make it feel a lot bigger. And these renovations are really cool, and the tax break is awesome too. So for 10 years. So if you're looking in the city, ask about that program if you're looking for more space. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching. Hope you learned something new. If you ever have any questions, feel free to comment below, reach out directly. We'd love to help, and we'll see you at the next video.